I remember watching you as a little girl and you being that girl. Like, it was you and Moesha who I wanted to be so bad. The style, the way you talked, how you carried yourself, like everything. And it's like all of those roles that you played, you were the relatable Black girl. Someone sitting at home could identify with. Which of those roles that you played actually like resonated with you in your real life?
To a certain extent, all of them have, because of they were all at different time periods in my life. I loved being Yvette. I loved being Yvette on Smart Guy because I felt incredibly protective of Taj at the time. And I loved who she was in her family. There was no mom. Their mom was gone. And so she had to step up. And I felt like in many ways in my life, I had to step up because I was walking into a career that no one in my family could really guide me in. Half and Half was such a dope environment for all of us. It was an executive producer who was a female, a showrunner, Yvette Lee Bowser, a director, Ellen Gittleson. There were so many incredibly strong women that were on the show, as well as executives connected to the show. Like the executive connected to our show on the UPN side is now Tracy Blackwell, who now runs faith-based programming at Amazon. Our other executive is now the president of CBS Network. We just had badass women all around us. Obviously, we had Telma and Valerie. We had Light on the show. We had Loretta Devine on the show. Louis Gossett Jr. on the show. We had amazing guest stars, Diane Carroll played my grandmother on that show. Ambitions was a great role for me, and I loved playing Amara because she was complicated. She was smart, yes, and she was an ADA, but she was also like she had cheated on her husband. She was a complicated character. She wasn't one thing because we are not a monolith. Doing Reasonable Doubt and playing an expert in domestic violence. I had a whole conversation with Kerry Washington about that role and why I was so grateful to be playing that role. I grew up in a home where early when I was very, very young, my mom was in a domestic violence situation. So I had that to draw from. Even with Marlon, I booked Marlon 3 weeks after I had filed for divorce. And there I was playing a newly divorced mom with trying to figure out how to raise two kids with the love of my life, which played by Marlon Wayans. You know what I mean? So it was so healing for me at the time to book that role, to look at divorce and co-parenting with under the umbrella of humor. So it's like every single project has had this timeline that has brought me wisdom, that has brought me healing, that has brought me laughter at a time where I needed it.
Effective immediately with DJ Head and Gina Views.